Right, so, gonna continue with this list of the top 200 heroes of Marvel. Basically going through the list, pitching those characters for Marvel's Avengers. Because early on, there was leaks, there was, rumors, rumblings of the game will have eventually 200 playable characters in it. If it continues the way it's going, it's not going to have 20 characters in it. But I'm hopeful that Embracer Group knows what they're doing with character release schedule. So hopefully we get to start seeing more characters sooner rather than later. Got Jane coming this month, soon. Still no release date yet. Hopefully we get a release date soon, within the next couple days, hopefully. But yeah, we're just going to work through this list, and we're going to see who pops up and what my ideas and pitches for them are going to be. So Hawkeye's already in the game. He's already the best character in the game. Soon to be eclipsed by Jane, possibly. More than likely, it looks like, looking at what her kit entails. We then have Luke Cage. Firstly, we have Luke Cage. I'd be very excited to see Luke Cage in this game. Street level characters is definitely where I see the game going after the Kree. We can link him in with Daredevil. We can have, him still be dealing with the Hand, but you can also have Diamondback as one of the... Apologies about that. Fucking hell. Hay fever's hitting me like a truck. But there's people in the real world with real problems. So I'm not gonna complain about having the sniffles. But yeah, Diamondback as a boss, or Cottonmouth, or I don't know, the one Luke Cage comic run that I have, he fights Ringmaster. So it'd be interesting seeing the Circus of Crime show up. They're an interesting villain group. I would rather see Diamondback, or maybe even Bushmaster from season 2, or Black Mariah, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas that you can do with Luke Cage. He's got actually quite a few villains from the Netflix series, so you can do a few things with him. We then have Iron Fist. I think boss fight Davos is the more interesting one. You could do Scorpion. Scorpion's interesting. There are others that you can do, like Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary was in the show. Yeah, I think Typhoid Mary is the most logical, or like Lady Bullseye, or maybe like a Daredevil villain that would also fit with Iron Fist, because that's kind of what they did with the show anyway, by putting Typhoid Mary in there. But yeah, I like the idea of having Iron Fist in the game. I think we need to get all of the Defenders at some point, because all of them are fun, and all of them would be fun characters to play as, to mess around with, and they all work. They all work for where the game is at the moment anyway, and you can kind of do like a new Avengers type thing. It'll be fun to see them interact with the characters that are already in the game. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is a character a lot of people have been pitching. I want to see her come in around the same time as Doctor Strange. I would like her to come in with her brother Pietro as well. Villains, I don't know. Agatha Harkness, maybe. I would have Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Vision, and someone else come in. Probably just those three, actually. I would maybe just have those three, because Vision is a big deal. I think Quicksilver is a big deal as well. You maybe have Scarlet Witch be the biggest deal, because she's the biggest deal in terms of characters on that list. But I would definitely have her come in with her brother and her husband, and possibly Wonder Man as well, because Wonder Man has ties to Vision. He's the person that Vision modelled his brainwaves over. So yeah, I like the idea of Wonder Man coming with those. We then have Cable. Cable would be fun. Bring in Strife or Apocalypse, or yeah, probably Strife actually. Strife would be a lot more fun, and he is Cable's clone, and you can kind of lead it into kind of an Age of Apocalypse thing that will come later. You could link it in with Krakoa as well. Maybe a Days of Future Past thing, because he is a time traveler, and it would work with the Future Wastelands as well. And you could probably bring in stories from even further in the future, and you can really play with the time travel element even more. We then have Hercules. Hercules is a character I wanted in the game for basically since launch. You can easily tie it in with Thor. It's a character that you can complete the Asgard storyline with Hercules, without having to do a separate expansion thing or anything. Hercules would work as a operation character or hero event character if you tie him in with the Asgard storyline, and also bring in Olympus as well, or have hints to Olympus, because I don't think there's enough Olympus in Marvel Comics anyway to actually translate into video game form. I mean, you can make stuff up. You can always make stuff up. And maybe villain-wise, I would probably have the Wrecking Crew or Gore the God Butcher. I think one of the two. You either go all out or you go street level with Hercules. I don't think there's really room to go in the middle. You either play it safe with street level and introduce street level Thor villains like the Wrecking Crew, maybe Malekith, maybe Curse, the Dark Elves possibly, or you go all out. Or maybe Hercules is the character that you bring Loki in with, maybe. We then have X-23, who I've pitched to come in with Wolverine in the Madripoor thing. Basically play like Wolverine, but a bit more agile, a bit more fast. Because Wolverine will be kind of not slow, but he'll be very all over the place. I feel like X-23 could have more direction. You can kind of have a bit more control over her, as opposed to Wolverine being a bit more feral and being a bit more animalistic. Hank Pym's already in the game. I think the game has made a thing of saying Hank Pym is not the Ant-Man that we're going to do. I think if Ant-Man comes to Avengers, which he's got to, because he's an Avenger and because he's one of the more popular characters in the MCU, so I think you definitely have to put him in, because it sells tickets, it gets bums in seats, so I would go Scott Lang, personally. You could also go Eric O'Grady, because he was the Ant-Man that was on the Avengers. Scott Lang's never been on the Avengers. Hank Pym was a founding member of the Avengers, and you know, what's his face? Fucking Eric O'Grady was on the Secret Avengers. Scott Lang's never been a member of the Avengers, so I don't, from a narrative standpoint, Eric O'Grady makes more sense. But also, Eric O'Grady is the Black Ant, and he could also be a boss fight. Also, Yellow Jacket could be a boss fight as well. So, I like either of those options. I don't like Hank Pym being an option. I don't think you did all that to kind of give a reason why Hank Pym can't be this game's Ant-Man. I don't think you can really rewrite all of that and say, oh yeah, it's fine now. He can get his powers back. Plus, he's also a summon. Imagine playing as Hank Pym and then you summon Hank Pym. You can't do that. So I think the game has made it a big thing that Hank Pym's not coming. So my pitch is for Ant-Man, not Hank Pym. Scott Lang. My pitch is for Scott Lang and Eric O'Grady be the boss, or Yellow Jacket be the boss. Moon Knight is a difficult one, because do you do Moon Knight like the show did, which is a bastardization of the character, or do you do Moon Knight like the comics, which is correct? I think you do Moon Knight like the comics, and you can have Mr. Knight be a cosmetic that you can put on him. I like the idea of having either Bushman be the villain, Werewolf by Night be the villain. You can put more than one in, but I think Werewolf by Night is more interesting because he's actually got powers and abilities, and you can model him kind of like Black Panther in a way. You can model him around that Black Panther model. And also it's something different than what we've seen already. I don't think there's any other villain in the game or boss in the game that feels like Werewolf by Night. Bushman is just another bloke, isn't it, really? So I don't think that's necessarily as interesting. It is the most popular Moon Knight villain outside of, say, Taskmaster, or, you know, the Hood would be cool. I'd like to see the Hood be in more things, please. But I think Werewolf by Night is the most interesting one. And you can theme it around Halloween as well. Oh my god, sorry. You can theme it around Halloween as well. Because, like, the whole full moon thing and all that. Next is Angel. I think you have the Angel's coming with the First Class in the First Class expansion that brings in 5 characters. I think that's a massive feat for Crystal Dynamics, but I feel like it's doable, and I feel like it's the only way feasibly that you can bring the X-Men into the game is fragment it through several expansions. Like, you do the First Class, and then you do the second Genesis team, which will bring in, like, your Colossus Wolverine. Wolverine's being done in the Weapon X update. So, First Class, Weapon X, and Second Genesis. I think the Second Genesis characters, you can afford to do those fragmented as, like, hero events and expansions. Or not expansions, hero events and operations. Operations are being sidelined, which I think is a bad idea. I think you should put more people into working on the expansion, on the operations, so that they can be longer and they don't take as long to make. I don't think you should just scrap that idea as a whole. I don't know if they are scrapping that idea as a whole, or they're just gonna have more people be coming in hero events, and they're gonna have the kind of echo or the less popular characters coming out as a hero event. They're gonna have the mid-tier characters, or the characters that have a little bit of hype, like your Hawkeyes or your Kate Bishops or your She-Hulks, your Winter Soldiers. They're going to have those characters come out with Operation. They're going to have the big bombastic, we put a lot of work into this character, please love them. They're putting the big like money grabbers, ticket sellers into the expansions. I think Angel definitely, if you put all of the first class of the X-Men in an expansion, that definitely puts bums in seats, because it's saying X-Men, mutants, more of this is coming. So yeah, I think the moment that you start putting mutants in is the moment people's interest is peaked. I'm very interested to see if that is what they do. At the end of the day, that's just my pitch. Angel himself, I don't think he's probably the least hype character out of all of the characters that would be brought in the in that first class group. I don't have as much of a interest in Angel as any other character. I think you can do good things with him, and the game's shown with Hawkeye that they can take a rubbish premise or kind of a not very cool character, and they can make him amazing. So I think they can do that again with Angel. I just don't have much hype around it. Betsy Braddock, you do one of two things with Betsy. You either have her be Psylocke, and you have the Quanon skin, and everything else, every other thing that she does or every other look that she's had will be a cosmetic. Or you do Captain Britain, and the Quanon skin will be a cosmetic, or just not be in the game, or be heavily updated or heavily changed, because it's a bit skimpy, isn't it? I mean, we've got skimpy outfits already in the game, but I think that's a bit too far. I don't think anyone at CD is going to be making jiggle physics on bums, especially when you can see the bare bum. But I would rather see Captain Britain, because it means that you can bring her with her brother Brian Braddock. You can kind of do an Excalibur thing where you have Brian, you have Betsy, you have Union Jack, and you have Megan come in. I think that's amazing. I like that idea. Take that CD and run with it. And then you can kind of bring in characters that fit into that team as well, like Nightcrawler, like Shadowcat, you can kind of play with it, bring in more European or British superheroes. We then have War Machine. War Machine is one that I'm very hyped for, because it's one of those characters where either you do a hero event, you kind of put a little bit, you put kind of minimum effort into it, make him feel like Iron Man, but with some extra toys, and that's kind of the safe way to do it. Or you do it as an operation. You do an Armor Wars operation, you bring in Ironmonger, you bring in Crimson Dynamo, and then maybe have a raid tied to it which has all of these Iron Man villains in it, because that was the disappointing thing for me with the Wakanda raid, is that it didn't bring in other Black Panther villains. We didn't see any Man-Apes, we didn't see any Killmongers, we didn't see anyone like that. We didn't even see Crossbones make a second appearance. So I think the next raid needs to have more of an emphasis on bringing villains in as well, not just have the one big villain at the end. I think you can have the mini bosses be recognizable Marvel Comics villains. So that's my pitch for Wolverine or War Machine, not Wolverine, War Machine. I would rather see the perfect thing would be an expansion. I think you can sell an expansion of War Machine because he's getting a show. You can sell a War Machine, an Armor Wars expansion with War Machine and Rescue and Ironheart, probably Ironheart as well, and maybe Iron Lad. I don't know if Iron Lad works as well, but you could probably sell that and then have like all these other Iron Man villains, or armored Iron Man villains like Crimson Dynamo, like maybe even Ultimo. You can bring Ultimo in. Why not? Why not do Ultimo? But yeah, that's my pitch for War Machine. I will probably. How many have we done today? So we went from Luke Cage, which was 38, to 48. So we've done 10. That will probably be the last pitch for today. War Machine, hype character, someone that I really want to play as in the game. So out of all the ones that we've done so far, War Machine's the one that I'm really hyped for, and we're getting into the really cool characters now. So, I'm excited about the next few episodes of this and pitching more characters, because we are getting into the really, like, not obscure characters, but we're getting into the more visually interesting. We're getting into the more, like, we're getting out of the street level, and we're getting into the more interesting characters, because we're delving more into the weeds of the Marvel Universe. So I'm excited to carry on with this. Let me know in the comments below if you've been enjoying this series. Looking at the views, it doesn't look like people are getting much out of it, but I'm enjoying doing it. So I guess that's what it's all about. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this one, peace. Fingers crossed we get Jane news sometime soon, so we get a video that actually does well. I'll see you guys then. Peace.